And in tonight's main event, the RWL International Championship on the line, as Big Jake Blackwell, accompanied by Sylvia Strong, defends the RWL International Championship against Curt Hennig, Mr. Perfect. The irrepressible Bobby Heenan, accompanying Curt Hennig, Mr. Perfect, to ringside for this International Championship match with Big Jake Blackwell. And Mr. Perfect, no stranger to championship gold, and certainly presenting a valid challenge to Big Jake Blackwell.
Yeah, he does present a legit challenge to Blackwell, but Jake has held on through some pretty tough opponents, and he's still at the top of the mountain and still sporting the international title. On behalf of the Stronghold, just one of the many titles held within Sylvia's fairly amazing stable of stars.
Sylvia is always a little on edge when it's a singles title at stake. The Psychedelics and the Originals have the tag team division pretty much all to themselves, but with Jake and Stefan von Berger and their respective singles championships, it's always a little touch and go for Annie Sylvie.
I think singles title insecurity within the Stronghold became a problem after Gary Galaxy dropped the small television title to Tony Dangerous a month ago. The charismatic, the colorful, the slightly crazy Sylvia Strong, manageress of the year last year, accompanying Big Jake Blackwell, the international champion, to ringside for this main event matchup with Mr. Perfect.
Man, I remember when Jake first got here in 2014, and Too Short Popeye Scott Bell tried to make him his gopher. Remember how bad Jake hated his ass Steve? His very first match in RWL was to win his freedom from Too Short.
And after winning his freedom and following a short stint in the broadcast booth, Sylvia Strong adopted the man of the people, Big Jake Blackwell, as one of her own, cited him with Stefan von Berger as part of the Insiders, and it has been a meteoric rise ever since.
The following contest is for the RWL International Championship. It's scheduled for one fall with a 15-minute time limit. Introducing first the challenger, accompanied by Bobby the Brain Heenan, from Robbinsdale, Minnesota, weighing 232 pounds. He is Mr. Perfect, Curt Hennig. And, accompanied by Sylvia Strong, from New York City, weighing 286 pounds, he is the reigning RWL International Champion, Big Jake Blackwell.
Always an exciting moment with the championship on the line in the main event. Curt Hennig, Jake Blackwell, all set to go here. Walt Rothburn rings the bell. Curt Hennig charges, running clothesline, takes Blackwell down into the corner. And now Curt Hennig putting the boots to the face of Big Jake Blackwell. Follows it up with a stomp. And here we go, Mr. Perfect into a heel hook stretch as Bobby the Brain Heenan salivates at the thought of gaining the RWL International title for the Heenan family. Mr. Perfect twisting the arm of Jake Blackwell, follows it up with a stomp to the shoulder. Curt Hennig beginning to stretch the arms of Big Jake Blackwell. Mr. Perfect with a flip over neck whip. Sylvia Strong looking a bit concerned at the moment as Big Jake Blackwell catches an elbow from Mr. Perfect off the top rope. Perfect goes for the cover. One, two, and barely a one. Curt Hennig getting very aggressively in this title matchup. Not surprising at all. Kick to the midsection to Jake Blackwell. Oh, tried for the drop toe hold, but Jake Blackwell with a wicked kick to the head takes him down overhand right to Mr. Perfect. Now it's Mr. Perfect on the receiving end from the international champion. Blackwell misses with the stomp. Kurt Hennig counters. They lock up. Kurt Hennig whipped to the ropes. Head-on collision with no result. Knee to the midsection from Blackwell. Big Jake with Mr. Perfect up over the shoulders, but Mr. Perfect finding his way out of that spot right away. Hard right that stunned Big Jake Blackwell. And another and a series of rights. And now a drop toe hold. A nice takedown from Mr. Perfect, who also would like very much to be RWL International Champion. Mr. Perfect with the drop toe hold and a leg stretch for Jake Blackwell. Kurt Hennig making his way to the second rope as Blackwell comes up. Double axe handle. Didn't even see it coming. 1, 2, no. Big Jake Blackwell getting the shoulder up. Kurt Hennig with a nasty shot and another. A left that gets blocked by Blackwell. Big Jake with Mr. Perfect up over the shoulders hangs him off the top rope. Big Jake Blackwell with Mr. Perfect down in the middle of the ring. He's going to try and go to work. Misses with the jumping neckbreaker. Mr. Perfect takes advantage of that situation and begins stretching the arms of Blackwell again. Big Jake locks it up with Kurt Hennig. Has him up over the shoulder again. This time drops him headfirst into the turnbuckle. And Jake Blackwell determined to hang on to that international championship for the stronghold. Wrap around DDT from Mr. Perfect. Oh, Mr. Perfect catches a counter from Jake Blackwell. Jake is Perfect up over the shoulders, hangs him off the top rope yet again. Sylvia Strong loving what she's seeing at the moment. Big Jake with a headbutt takes Mr. Perfect down to the canvas again. Blackwell drives an elbow into the leg of Mr. Perfect. Blackwell now putting the emphasis on the legs of Mr. Perfect. Here he goes, charges, and whoa, a 286-pound splash right into the chest of Mr. Perfect. Jake drives an elbow. Rounds Mr. Perfect up yet again. Mr. Perfect quick with the counter here. And Jake with a counter and a headbutt takes Mr. Perfect right back down. Jawbreaker from Mr. Perfect. Knee to the midsection from Jake. Kick to the midsection from Perfect. Perfect takes him down. And here we go. Into a little surfboard stretch right here with a stomp to the back of the head. And Mr. Perfect rolls him over, goes for the cover. Here we go. 1, 2. 1 count away from the new international champion. And Mr. Perfect can almost taste it. And here we go again. Into a submission, stretching the legs of Big Jake Blackwell. Can't reach the ropes. But look at this. Jake powering out somehow. Back to his feet. Charges with a clothesline. Takes Mr. Perfect down to the canvas. Another rolling elbow into the chest. And Bobby Heenan finally gets tired of the punishment. Sees what's going on. Puts a chair into the ring. Hoping Mr. Perfect can put that to use. Big Jake Blackwell continuing to work on Mr. Perfect as the referee disposes. Oh, here we go, Bobby the Brain Heenan getting himself involved in the situation, trying to distract Blackwell. Here comes Mr. Perfect, takes him down. And the distraction absolutely working this time. Mr. Perfect rounds up Jake Blackwell. Takes him down with that drop toe hold and that leg submission again. Blackwell reaching for the ropes, but there's nowhere to go. But he's going to have to get off the hard way. Hard shots to the head of Mr. Perfect. And he separates himself from Perfect. Here we go. Whoa, jumping neckbreaker from Jake Blackwell. Goes for the cover here. 1, 2, 3, and another quick win as Big Jake Blackwell retains the International Championship.
The time, 5 minutes and 57 seconds. Your winner by pinfall, Big Jake Blackwell.
I think both Jake Blackwell and Sylvia Strong will sleep well tonight following this win over Mr. Perfect. secure in the knowledge that the International Championship ain't going anywhere.
Mr. Perfect really tried to tighten the screws on Big Jake Blackwell this evening, but it was to no avail as Big Jake Blackwell wrapped this one up pretty quickly to retain the RWL International Championship. Well, that about does it for this week's edition of RWL Rage. We thank you, as always, for joining us, and we hope that you'll join us this Saturday for RWL Snarl, and we remind you that this Wednesday night, October 16th, join us for the premiere of RWL Late Night. That is going to be something special right there. For all of us here at RWL, my name is Don Hickson, thanking you very kindly for your time, and we will see you at ringside next time. Good night, everybody.